What's going on, boys? It is your boy Nick from Run the Foot Market. I'm here with Jamie, FUT Economist. What's going on, brother?
Nothing much, Nick. How are you?
I'm very good, and today is Team of the Week 13. We skipped Team of the Week 12 because we were just lazy. We don't like Team of the Week 12, and we didn't really feel like a prediction last week. Isn't that right, Jamie?
Yeah, something like that.
All right. So anyways, guys, we're back at it with the weekly, every single week predictions. And so we have a really good Team of the Week this week, which is something really good to look forward to. I think the last time we were this excited for Team of the Week was Team of the Week 10. I think that was the last Team of the Week that we said, wow, this is a big one. Now, obviously, we don't have the Team of the Week yet. You guys get to see this early on a Tuesday morning, so you guys have a good amount of time to soak it in. In these videos, if you're new to this kind of video, well, I would say Jamie, FUT Economist, does an aggregate of how many predictors are we at now?
7.
So we take a group of 7 and we get it all together and we put an actual aggregate, and then we add in our own thoughts. Weekly, we also talk about how we did last week. I think we came off like a 15, a 16, and then maybe a 16, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
So we've been doing pretty well. To get 16 out of 23 every week is very, very good. I think we like to set the baseline between 15 and 18. We're happy. We don't have one from last week because we just didn't do last week, and we don't want to drag out Team of the Week 11 to show you guys how we did. So we usually start off these videos showing you guys how we did in previous weeks, but that's not going to be the case this week. So where would you like to start here? Would you like to talk about the big boys? Would you like to talk about the riskier ones? You can steal the show.
Might as well talk about the big boys first. I mean,
okay.
I think the locks, the ones to get excited about, first and foremost is Salah. He's predicted to be in it by 7 out of 7 predictors. Obviously had a fantastic performance over the weekend, and it's going to be one that a lot of people are going to be very excited, particularly because he is a striker card. I know that's going to be particularly popular, especially among the Liverpool fans, and I would imagine that there's all sorts of complementary good investing that you can do for that Salah card, so that's something to get excited about. Same thing with that Rashford in 7 out of 7 predictions as well. Another card that I think is going to have some good complementary good investing potential. He is obviously played at left mid for United. Some other ones that I guess are interesting. That Dembele card, unfortunately, he played on the left, which is a bummer. If he had played on the right, I think that would have helped mend some weaknesses in La Liga. But unfortunately, if he gets a left wing card, which I think is likely, he'll be competing with the likes of Promes and whatnot. Still a very good card, but would it be better on the right? Other ones, and this is more of a contentious one, it's going to be between David Luiz and Kante. Both of them contributed 1 goal to, I think it was a 2-0 win. For Chelsea, so it's going to be interesting to see which of those two gets in. Usually, in sort of past experience, center backs are held to in terms of goal contributions, are held to a lower standard compared to midfielders. But it is sometimes a little bit different for center defensive mids, who a lot of times are more looked at for the defensive contributions or their distribution in terms of like their pass accuracy, pass completion, number of tackles made. There was a clean sheet, so I think maybe that's like leaning more towards Luiz. It looks like our predictors, 5 out of our 7 predictors have said that Luiz is going to get in. I think we're leaning towards Luiz getting in, but I think there's an outside shot that Kante gets in. I don't think both of them get in. I think it's either one or the other, but definitely one to keep an eye on. The other one that I think is going to be very, very interesting, well, there's a couple of more to keep it interesting, but Cancelo is one as well for Juventus. One of the reasons that he's really interesting, so I believe he got an assist in a 1-0 win in a derby, kept a clean sheet. And I think the big thing that was sort of interesting about him is he actually played left back for the majority of the game, which would mean that possibly his inform would be a left back. But his one to watch, obviously, as you guys know, would stay at a right back, which would be really interesting in terms of the supply dynamics. I'm sure we'll talk about that and what that means. Another one, and this is one that I personally don't believe as much. Like I don't think it's as strong as a pick as the predictors have said. And maybe Nick, you can chime in on this. But Human Son. 5 out of 7 predictors think he's going to get in. And then I think it was 3 out of the 5 predictors that predicted he was going to get in said he was going to get a striker card. I mean, I watched the game. He played fantastically. I think believes a goal and assist. I feel like usually, usually strikers are held to a higher standard in terms of their goal contributions. And usually 2 goal contributions isn't quite enough. But I guess that remains to be seen. Would be interesting if he got a striker card, though, because I do think with that 5-star weak foot, he could be someone that would fit nicely into the meta. And then finally, I guess, of sort of the interesting ones, if you will, is that Martinez card. A lot of people think he's going to either get a hero card to maybe make up for the lack of the SBC. You have no idea where that SBC is. But anyway, Nick, what do you think about this Team of the Week?
Lots of thoughts as well. I think Martinez does probably get a card. I think off of the guilty play. Now, if we don't see a Martinez card this week, I mean that there should be a special card from that game, and he was the MVP of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he gets it. And if we don't see that, they just really don't like Martinez over there at EA. I don't know. So after that, Son is gonna get in Team of the Week in my opinion. Left mid though, so not a striker. That's a left mid. I don't know why the predictors have him, because from my vision of watching the game, they were playing 4-2-3-1, and he was at the left mid spot. I actually watched the game too. I just pulled it up formation wise as well.
Okay.
So it's looking like a left mid, which kind of stinks, man. So I don't want to say that because I'm really tired because we have now Martial, Mane. I mean, I don't even want to list them. Sane, Martial, Mane.
Literally.
Oh my gosh, man. It's like every meta, they all have left wing cards. So it is what it is. Maybe we get one of those Lucas things where they just kind of, Lucas played center forward for the month. They give him a right mid player of the month. Maybe they toss him in as a striker to sell some packs. Who knows? Anyways, I wanted to discuss N'Golo Kante with you because I had a gut feeling around Team of the Week 10 that they were going to juice it up for the Black Friday promo. So with FUTMAS looming on Friday, do you think there is an opportunity that because Salah is the only 90-plus player, if they have the outside chance to throw him in, maybe they throw him in? I don't know the last time I saw two players from the same team in the Team of the Week. However, that was a major win, and I don't think City had lost a game all year up to that point, correct?
I believe so. I think they had gone an unbeaten run.
Yeah, they have not. So I think if you want to make the argument, guys, that both of them get in, it's possible. I say if you see Conte in the Team of the Week, EA is maybe dropping a flashback with David Luiz over the FUTMAS promo. Something like that. You can get your own theories from everything. I would still look into thinking that David Luiz does have the upper edge. I agree with you there with the shutout and being a center back. That's a big result to get a clean sheet against City, which is just impressive within itself. And it's a big deal. I think he had an 8.4 match rating. Conte had a 7.8. But I do almost value Conte as I know he's playing. I think they're playing 4-3-3. He's playing like a right center mid role. You'd think of Conte as a 6, so a CDM, and you'd think of him as if he does score and they do get a shutout. I almost look at him very similar to a center back, but I would still give probably the edge to David Luiz.
I think it is worth noting, too, that our strongest predictor, the guy that has the highest average, actually our two strongest predictors are the two predictors that actually have them as getting in over Luiz. So,
and I think they're onto something, which is where I'm getting at, and I think you are too, is that they are now seeing, I think what EA is doing closer to promos, which is juicing. We didn't do the predictions last week, but I had a very strong feeling that a few players would get into last Team of the Week. I thought Timo Werner was a little close on he had 2 goals, and
for a third
not
in
everyone
form as well.
Yeah, for a third in form, and I thought that was a possibility if they were really going to juice up Team of the Week pre Team of the Group stage. So that's possible. I think there's a lot. Dude, there's so much to talk about here. You started to mention some of the we talk investments and trades in these videos as well. So I think Rashford is gonna. I know he's a left mid. That also hurts Son a little bit. It doesn't hurt Son, but it makes it very interesting. With 2 left mids from the same league. Let's think. So I do think you're going to see. You talked about the complementary goods. I think Lukaku has a shot to go up. I think stronger links to Rashford that are affordable and somewhat meta. I don't think. Well, honestly, I think if Luke Shaw, does he have a blue? Maybe you look at that. I mean, we've got Champions League SBCs probably coming tomorrow. The tradable supply of the UCLs with the Champions League on again. So if you see any that are maybe going to be strong links to upcoming Team of the Weeks that almost make it not hard to link, but stuff that's very specific to players is where I always look. I think Rashford does have a lot of options because he's English, so maybe he's not the best one to hit at this Team of the Week. Salah is looking good. It's going to be a very unique card because it's a striker.
I think links with him are going to be important because of his Egyptian nationality. I think Liverpool players are going to be big for him for complementary goods because it's tough to link him in a team if like say people get him as a red card, right? Like they're gonna
Yes.
need like Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Mane, right, to link him in a team, especially because that striker card in terms of like links, because you throw him up at a 4-4-2 or whatever formation you put him in, and you need people to link around him, and like really the only way to do it in a way that will get him full chemistry is with guys from Liverpool. So I think midweek, I think guys like again like Fabinho.
You know what I think's going to go a lot with that card is the and I'm not trying to like price fix a card off this video, so I'll just say the player and not like the specific card, but I think Mane is going to go up a lot because that's a very, very good card.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best strong link you can do to a Salah striker, in my opinion.
I agree.
The best. So I mean that's probably somewhere to look. And specifically, you're talking about the team of the week. Not saying it's going to go up, but I'm just saying that is a rarer card as well. It's an older. All the complimentary goods from older team of the weeks that are very positive links to these newer ones are always the ones going up the most because they have the less amount of supply, obviously, guys. That's why we start to look at some of that. I think you mentioned a good point with Usman. It's a little annoying that he's not a right wing because Quincy Promes is a beast.
Yeah.
Other things in here, I think.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you got it.
I just want to say, before we move on from the complementary good things, one thing I think is really important, especially as we get further into the year, investing in complementary goods in like gold cards and cards that are going to get like higher and higher supply throughout the year is going to work less and less. Because like if you look at like what happens last year and what's starting to even happen now is like because the supply of like those gold cards is increasing, they are going to be less. Like they're going to be more resistant to like changes in price just based on like weekend league demand or like people going out and building teams around them specifically, just because there's just more supply to be taken off the market at certain price points and it's like sort of more difficult to move the needle, if you will. So that's why sometimes you want to focus on like informs from previous team of the week. So further back in the team of the week sort of realm, the better. UCL cards work for that as well. Team of group stage cards will eventually work for that. So just something to keep in mind, especially as we get further into the year.
No, I agree with you there, and I think something that I wanted to talk about with this team of the week is the Gulam is 6 out of 7 have him, so that's pretty much always a lock to me. It's very close to being a lock. Mm-hmm. I think Koulibaly interests me there because he's got the newer card. Will the supply be too much? It may, but I think that's an interesting one for a link. Now, the breaker for me there, and I know Sandro is the more meta one, the breaker for me is that does Gulam get 80 pace? Because if he gets 80 pace, he's only got one stat under 80.
Yep.
So that interests me a lot, and it's a shooting stat, which as a left back, I don't, it's not that.
That's literally like Laporte today, dude.
Yeah,
like if
exactly.
Laporte
if it
had
was 70 pace
pace
today, I would have considered doing it, but so I think. God, there's a lot of we will be able to see, guys. Like I would say with this team of the week, if we end up getting Salah, Kante, Son, Rashford, Dembele. I mean, maybe your odd, like, random 87 rated that they just toss in that nobody saw coming. That's a sign to me. Let's talk about Cancelo.
Yeah.
So just to give you guys some experience, just to give you guys some realistic thing here. Do you have any Cancelo wants to watches?
I have a couple, yeah.
Right now. Okay, so do you have more than 10?
No.
Okay, we are not here to hype up this thing. I wanted to tell you guys, and honestly, I'm surprised right now I don't have 30. I had like 15 to 20 on Saturday. I took a little bit of a risk on it, or Friday. He got the assist. He went up to 280. I took the money. I always do this thing where I take the money because there's a double way you can do that. You can take the money if they score an assist, and then after the game, you can always buy back in or the next day or late at night, like 6 hours after. I didn't have the coins to buy back in. I had literally 10 million coins I had bought in blues on Friday night because they were low, and I was working on trading and flipping them. And ultimately, I didn't flip all of them until Saturday, and he was 255, and I want to pull the trigger. I think he's like 330 to 340 right now, which is very expensive, but it shows you guys exactly what happens every single week to a ones to watch that is potentially in. When Mahrez had a shot or a sniff of people think he was in team of the group stage, he went from 330 to 420, 440, something like that. So this ones to watch hype is really real. People like to keep going in it. I will be honest with you guys, and I know Jamie has some, and even if I had some right now, like 330, 340, like I really don't know how much more that's going. I think 350 is probably your cap out. I know he's really meta. I get that. His team of the week 1 is very rare. It's up at like 210. I would say if that's a normal team of the week card, it's probably 170 to 190, so it's probably a little bit less if it has less supply. The OTW, though, however, it's up. You have to look at it in this way where the OTW has gone from 210 to 340. So you're talking right now there's a 130K increase that people are willing to get in and play with this upgrade. Just to teach you guys watching the video and guys who have never seen a ones to watch analysis or me do ones to watch on stream or Jamie talk about them, they always crash upon the upgrade. So whenever they actually get their stats changed into FIFA Ultimate Team, they crash in price every single time. There has actually never been a player that has ever survived it or has ever done anything different than crash. They always get hoarded up, and then they go down in price after 1 p.m., 6 p.m. UK release time on it. So I personally think he's in Team of the Week. I've looked at the highlights. It wasn't just an assist. It was an amazing cross to Mandzukic to the back post to win the game. It was a pretty simple finish. He set the whole play up. He did a run down the line, and then he did a nice cross, and it was a 1-0 win against Inter Milan. So I think he's in. I'm not here to tell you guys to go buy him. What I'm telling you is that I do think at 330, he's probably going to jump another 20 to 30. He's in most predictions. I think we have him this week as a 5 out of 7. I think EA, from what I've seen, has really liked to include their once to watch cards. I think you have enough gap from Team of the League 1 to now to throw him in again. I don't think there's any problem there. I think you've had enough time in between, and I think they look at it like, okay, this is going to go from an 84 to an 86. We had discussed before this video today, talking about how you can still make coins off that without buying in right now, and the way would be that he played left back. So this card is going to have a positional value that the left back doesn't. He's got a 3-star weak foot, so nobody's going to want to play the left back on FIFA, in my opinion, unless they're switching in game with a lefty on a right back side. I don't know. So that becomes really complicated. So what it's going to do, it's going to put a certain stress on this ones to watch, where when it does drop after a few hours, you should expect this ones to watch to definitely start to creep back up and bounce back during weekly rewards. Perfect example of this is Mars from Team of the Week 10. Mars was I don't know the exact price, but Mars dropped on Team of the Week announcement, I think down to I want to say 240, and the next day I checked the rewards, he was back up at 300, and I was like, what in the hell is going on here? So it was something that last year, I think me being console differences, PS to Xbox, last year I didn't see it a lot, where these guys would really, really come back once they went down. I think players like Mahrez, Cancelo, other ones to watch players, maybe Nainggolan if he ever gets an upgrade. Certainly Cristiano Ronaldo. I think after their panic is done, they're so meta that people want to get back into that card because they know that they have a real future of potentially getting more informs and they're going to be more useful. So it really showed with Mahrez. Players that are playing well will always be bought back if they're live items. That's kind of my take on Cancelo. I don't know if you guys want to add anything, but that's...
Yeah, no, I mean, another thing too for the Xbox folks in particular, I mean, I haven't really been on PS, but I know that the supply of that Cancelo card is really low. So if you can time it right, you're going to be sitting pretty, because this is going to be a very volatile. I almost said stock. It's going to be a very volatile card over the next couple days, because the supply is so low. Because so many people, this is not a card that people trade in and out a lot. In terms of if you had to look at the ratio of cards of one to watch cards that people trade in and out of, this is one of those cards with Ronaldo that people just buy and just hold him in their team because he's that good. He's not like a Golovin or Golovin, whatever his name is, where people are trying to make money off him, or the majority of people that are on the market are trying to make money off him. This is a card that people buy and put in their teams, and then they don't come back on the market, and that's why its supply is so low. And yeah, I mean, I think you said this, but I want to emphasize it's going to be very interesting because unlike a lot of other one to watches where the inform acts as a substitute good, if you will, or an additional supply to the one to watch. If he gets a left back inform, he's not going to have another option at a higher rated option at the right back position. So he's going to be the one to watch is going to be only 86 at that side, and that is going to be the go-to because it links with Ronaldo. That is going to be the go-to for a.
That's the best right back in FIFA.
Yep.
It is weak. So I think something to mention is that is I wanted to tell you guys, the people who use Cristiano Ronaldo in hybrids use Cancelo. I watch people, if they're not using icons, because there's a perfect link, both Portugal, both Portuguese, both the same team. That becomes interesting with me. Do we see this sudden boom in gold Ronaldo? I mean, that would be interesting to see. Is Ronaldo's always going up about 80 to 100 during weekly rewards from where he is on the sell-off on Sunday. So I'm not saying he increases every week by 100. What I'm saying is when he goes down to 242 on Sundays, he's usually going back up to 25 to 255. So I will be interested to see if we get if Cancelo is so good this week, that he's any much more of a motivation for people to look into using him. I mean, Cancelo, I've used him and played against him. The guy's a tank at where he is right now.
Like, maybe you could see someone like a Bateson replace like Dani Alves and then say, okay, I don't need Dani Alves anymore, and I'm not going to run Mbappe.
And then it's like, how are they going to link him? And maybe they don't. Yeah, so maybe, you know what's actually interesting? If Chiellini didn't have the supply that he has this team of the week, I would really, really consider Chiellini. If he didn't have the actual supply that he has, because there's a lot of supply. For me, the team of the week 12 right now has more supply than Black Friday's team of the week. I don't know what is going on with this and the UCL group stage cards, but they're just like flooded.
Really?
Yeah, it's
like
really a lot.
I mean, the Discord informs are nutty cheap. Like, really, really cheap.
Because their supply is mental. Because it's not even investors can keep it up. It's just nuts.
Oh, yeah, you know what that is? It's because no one has buying power right now. Everyone already bought their team, right? So none of the investors
teams
have buying
and the
power.
Packs. They dropped so many packs Friday, Saturday, and they all went within the hour. All of them.
Yeah.
I watched them. So what I wanted to talk about with Cancelo is that he's 90 pace, 82 defense, 82 defending, 84 dribbling, 81 passing, 74 physical as it stands.
6 foot.
86 upgrades are substantial usually when they go to the +2.
Yeah.
So he'll have 92 pace minimum. He'll have like 84, 85 defending. His physical is going to get close to 80. It's a juicy card, man, and I'm not trying to hype it up. What I'm trying to tell you guys is I'm trying to get you guys to get ready to go if he drops on Wednesday late in the afternoon to just get one. Just get one for your club because it's probably going to bounce back as the week goes on. It's a tight window because FUTMAS is on Friday, not confirmed, but I would assume that's why. That's why I said to the guys watching even just videos on the channel last week that I thought Team of the Group Stage would be last Friday. And if it was, that basically for me confirmed that we're going to get FUTMAS because there was no need to rush it before the games ended. So I think it's this Friday. We've got some other, I mean, dude, I'm really looking at Sydney, man, for FUTMAS. Like, if that goes really low on Thursday, that's a Brazil La Liga center back. And I've seen his team of the week 1 get up to 35K at times being in solutions.
Yep.
That guy was 10K at a point. I sold him at 30 this year. That's, like, interesting to me. If that's a guy that drops down, he's not a meta card. So if he drops down to, like, 6, maybe, I think he's probably not going to get lower than 18 or 19. Mm-hmm. But it interests me. I think there's some interesting looks.
Well, I think one thing to point out, too, is, like, I mean, I'm a guy that I follow Discord informs and Discord investing quite a bit. The prices of, like, the Discord guys, in particular, have gotten their lowest during Thursday rewards, almost, like, every time. Like,
so
for the past,
low.
like, couple team of the week. So, definitely sort of be on the lookout for if you are around during that sort of an outrageous hour, if you're nocturnal and you live in the Northeast, or if you're like on your way to work in the UK, like definitely be looking out for potentially picking up a lot of these guys. Another thing too is like if you want to pick up, I would imagine that their prices would probably start to get away from them, but because I haven't taken a look at it. But like someone like a Fernandez, his 83 rated gold card, if he's going to be out of packs during team of the week. Because of the team of the week during FUTMAS, like if they just happen to drop a Portuguese FUTMAS card, up he goes, right? So, and you can use a couple other examples in there as well, as like Gulam if he has Serie A links, Turidsky. I mean, he's probably not the best. Donnarumma is another going to 82 rated Italian goalkeeper. I mean, you can think about the freezes of supply and what that does to cards, especially in a SBC heavy period that we're coming up on. If you can get in on them when they're relatively cheap, I mean, you got to be patient with this stuff because these are the kind of investments that get put in Patreons a lot, and they move ahead of time for Team of the Week based on Team of the Week predictions. So you got to be patient with picking up these cards, but if you can, I think they're pretty good money makers.
Dude, most informs I'm looking right now, like a ton of 81 informs are between like 11 and 13K. I mean, that's
with FUTMAS coming up, man. I don't know why the informs are so cheap. I mean, history has repeated itself 2 times in a row, like 2 years in a row. FIFA 17, FIFA 18. Like I think there's a guy in Stream today that made a graphic that showed that 18 out of, or no, it was 26 out of 30 teams last year. Like for the players required at least 1 inform. And then it was, and I know you had a video about this, so I don't.
Well, I went on assigned last year to the guys who don't know, or to you, man. I went on assigned on this dude, 2 guys, Ibai Gomez and Leonard, and one was a Spanish 81, one was a French 81.
Yep.
And I had bought 150 of each. The team of the week right before FUTMAS at 10 to 11, and I was selling them to 21. After a week of FUTMAS. Now, looking back on it from my knowledge of this year, I should have listed at like 25, 26 for lazy buyers.
Yeah.
But still, I was sitting there selling them at the cheapest, which at one point was 21. Just out of experience, that that's something that I was looking at. I was also just going to mention another thing I don't remember. So
this year's gonna be nice for lazy buyers, by the way, because of all the UCL cards. If you can pick up an inform that has a UCL card, you're gonna have a couple people that are gonna have a tough time like finding the minimum. So listing for lazy buyers, especially for the informs, is gonna be nice.
I wanted to discuss with people watching the video. There is a specific pinpoint buy time with the ultra meta cards sorry, not a pinpoint buy time for your team, a pinpoint buy time for traders. Regarding the meta team of the week cards, and I've watched it now for 3 weeks in a row. So I now have 3 weeks in a row. 2 weeks of them were in a promo, and it still worked, which promos usually cause panic. Literally, I believe it's, you have until, what time exactly do rewards come out at?
It's 8 a.m. UK.
Okay. You have until 11 a.m. UK to, if you wait 1 hour. You wait 1 hour. I'm talking, so this week I would be talking Salah and Kante, like the 2 meta ones. Like really high rated, not a ton of supply, but potentially a very quick supply for a few hours with rewards and not a lot of buyers up. That's the concept of it. Last week, Aubameyang during rewards went down to 575. Between 600, he was extinct. He was extinct the 24 hours before rewards. He went extinct after like a few hours of Team of the Week release. And that was at 750. He dropped down to 600 to 590 2 to 3 hours after rewards. This is one example. This happened 3 weeks in a row with the marquee player, let's say marquee, from Team of the Week.
Yeah.
And then it's like everybody wakes up, and it does the same thing that rewards flipping really, actually, you can buy stuff if you're up at that time. It's like you got to be a night owl, but you can buy stuff at that time. And then if you just, because like I usually go 10 million in investing for rewards. Like I sell at 11 a.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. UK. I get out before the 6 p.m. potential promo panic or anything, and that's like the hot hour that like time. But what I was hinting at is that if you look back at trends of the marquee player from the last 3 weeks, they're jumping like 100,000 coins. The in team of the week ones.
Really?
Yes. Aubameyang last week went from 575 on PS, and when I woke up in the morning, he was 645, and I woke up at 8 a.m. which was 1 p.m. UK, and then by the time I was finished selling all my stuff, he was up at like 690, and I was like, dude, like, I was literally sitting here considering this week actually ruining my sleep cycle to like do this with Salah, because if this is like, it's definitely riskier, but it's something that I want to tell you guys, and it's something that makes sense. It's not a stupid trading thing. It's people opening weekly rewards late at night, not the majority, but there's a mass coming onto the market at the same time, and there's just not a lot of buyers. Like between
the UK is going to work.
Yeah, like between 11 p.m. Eastern time here and like basically I would say like 7 or 8 a.m. Eastern time, like the market's just kind of stale. I mean, it starts to go up but past like, it really starts to get going when everybody's awake. So that's why you see marquee players, and I'm sure, man, if Salah gets that striker card this week, like that's a big deal. He's got a 3-star weak foot now. That's like a very sought after card. So I would say if Sonny gets a striker, if Sonny got a striker, that would be my probably, if I look at the supply and I feel like it's not a ton, and you gotta like the price. I'm just talking riskier stuff, but that's something that I would do if any of you guys are watching this video looking to maybe just trying it out with one.
Yeah.
If I was up at that time, don't obviously watch the video and like do some experiment and like try to. Yeah.
And the stuff about like methods like that, guys, I mean, obviously that is a much more advanced trading method, because you need that, you can't just go and blindly buy that stuff.
No.
Like Nick's just giving you a time that like has kind of worked for him, but if like all of you guys go and blindly buy those cards without regard for the price that they're going at, you're gonna lose money, right? Because like
I agree.
Like you have to like and stuff like that, and high risk methods like that, you have to, the price has to be right. And frankly, you're gonna get wrong. You're gonna be wrong sometimes, and you're gonna take an L. But like the only way to get better at those methods, like truly, you can listen to us talk about it all day. The only way to get better at it is by doing it, right? Like you have to go out and experiment, take a risk. And like if something doesn't work out, or if it does work out, like try and think about why that happened, right? Like what was going on? What did you see on the market? Was there a bunch of supply that was happening? Were there big undercuts? What are some of the characteristics? Like oftentimes you'll see you'll be able to tell if like a card is going to rebound based on the number of undercuts and the intensity of the undercuts, or how long it takes for a big undercut to sell. And you can see like the heat on the market, if you will. And you know what? If you don't want to do those kinds of high risk investments, then you can stick with some of the discard investments that we're talking about, and they're very easy to sort of value, right? Because like you can compare them to the other valuations of like the other 83 rated informs, the other 82 rated informs from similar leagues and similar nations. Like if you want to invest in sort of like the bonds, that's what you do. But if you want to make, where the big profit margins are and where you can make a lot of coins very quickly is with the flips that Nick was talking about.
I think another thing like within that I just started to like take a tangent on, but it's something useful, is always like for me the number one thing I look at, and it's like, look, some of the stuff that I go off and do myself, it's like it's just so much experience with stuff, and I'm not trying to hype it up, but it actually becomes something that you just have such a comfort with doing, and you have the risk and the kind of just feel of things, so you go and try stuff. I would recommend, I always look at bids a lot of the time to really see like what is the demand. Like, is there 8 people bidding on one card? I think regarding Team of the Week in general, just upcoming this Team of the Week, like for me, right? I knew Andy Robertson, and I know when we did a podcast, something, man. We did some kind of podcast, and you and me were talking about it, and I literally got on the camera and said, guys, I know this card's gonna go up 10K after this video, but in a week or two, it's gonna be up a lot more. And like I think I was talking about him at 100, and I had been honest on the video. I was like, dude, I got like 20. I'm being real. Like, I'm not hyping this up. This is real. And I think right now he's like 200K because that was something that had positional rarity. He's 205K on Xbox, 200 on Xbox, 205 on PS. Something that had positional rarity and was just too cheap, a popular team. So that's how we knew that was a really good one. But I think for anybody just looking for general trading and Team of the Week tips and Team of the Week investments, I feel like a lot of the times Team of the Week investments are very forced. This week, the past week, Team of the Week 12, like I'm not touching any because of the lightning rounds. I feel like it's Team of the Week 10. I just don't think it's going to go up a lot. A lot of things have to be right for cards to be, meta cards to be the right investment. Positional rarity is a big one. Just another thing that I would look for, and the reason why I was so confident to just talk about Robertson, and I'm not trying to justify a win, I'm trying to explain why we sat there and we knew, or we talked about it so much. If you watched Robertson all week, he didn't drop while he had supply all week, bids all week. Never dropped from that 90, 91K mark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you see a card just sitting there all week, consistently getting bought and bought and bought, it means that obviously if the supply stops at a point and it's a card that is needed in a certain position for a league that's popular, it's just going to go up. I mean, that's literally how it works. So I think this week, if the supply isn't, well, no, you know what? Like, and that's why Cancelo could be a beautiful one this week, man. If he drops a lot, the OTW, he's not even in packs. So that's something that I find interesting, where if we're looking at him, like we look back and we check back in, and his left back is, because this is something that's very interesting about Cancelo, because he's a left back with a 3-star weak foot, that card may be like 200K, 220. So if that's something that actually drags down his OTW too to like 260, 270, because everybody goes, oh no, the inform's so low, I'm just going to sell this. That's going to be interesting to me.
Long term, that's really good.
Because that is like positional. I think the only thing looking in the future that compares with that is potentially Florenzi, who's going to get, I think, well, it depends on how Roma plays. But
Florenzi's pretty expensive as well, though. He's like, last time I checked, he was like 260 on Xbox, which is actually competing with.
And I think, he's 260, right? When I looked, I think he's probably 300 now. I think people are losing their minds because Champions League is starting. He's 300. So people are literally losing their minds because it's almost game day.
By the way, those cards I think are going to follow the exact same pattern as one of the watches. Like they're gonna get hyped up out of their mind.
So short story is that off a tangent of the Team of the Week, these live items, guys, it's the same thing as ones to watch. We spoke about the other week. We're talking about the Road to the Final cards. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, they are a new ones to watch. And if you weren't around in FIFA 17, ones to watch, people didn't know how it worked. So when a guy scored a goal, it went up 150K. Things like that, right? Like, it was just so explosive, and that's what's going on here. You've got Griezmann, his new UCL card with a dynamic image, not selling right now at 570, and his road to the final has gone from 1.3 to 1.65 because there's game day coming up. So they're going to get killed when they get upgrades, and I think a true value for Florenzi is probably 250. Now, Florenzi's, again, with Cancelo, where he's going to go to an 86 if they win. We don't need to get into all that. I think we're probably going on another note, but I think we're just talking about we're trying to figure out a price for I think Cancelo, and I think Cancelo offers more than Florenzi because he's Juventus, and that's obviously a lot more popular. There's a lot more links. Florenzi's really just got mana loss, no center mid this year, no 9 goal in, so I think that he's Italian, which gives him something. But I think Cancelo, you have a lot more going there. So I think Cancelo, like a fair value to probably pick up, like is probably 300. That's probably like a fair, like hopefully 310, 320. I think when we start getting 350, we're getting a lot. So that's my take on it. That's probably, I mean, that's all I have to add. I think the only thing we didn't touch on this week, which is interesting, is if Lucas Torreira gets in. We've got him out of 4 out of 7 predictions.
Yeah, I mean that would be Arsenal fans are gonna love that card, dude.
Yeah.
I mean that's gonna one. I don't know if that'll ever go down, but that's one like short term though because he's gonna be an 82. Like I think short term flipping wise, like some of the methods that you were talking about, like that could actually work. Because I can't tell you, dude. Like when I've been posting like team league predictions, like early looks at like potential highlights, every single time I post something on Instagram, on Twitter, or we talk about it on stream, someone goes like, "What about Torreira?" Like I'm like, yeah, like he's probably gonna get in. Like Arsenal fans absolutely love that guy, and for good reason. He's been playing really well for them. He's got like 5 man of the matches in a row for him. But I think that's going to be one that people are going to go out of their way to include in their teams, especially the casual fans. Like every Arsenal and their mom, every Arsenal fan is going to try and pick him up for their team. One more thing about the Cancelo card, I know we'd be hyping the, not trying to hype him. We talked about him quite a bit, but if Pepe gets a boost to his pace, man, and he goes like to a 90 pace card because he's Portuguese, it'd be kind of interesting to try and link with him because they do have that Vita card now with the 79 pace center back from the same team. And you can link that Vita card with Modric, and then you could do like Marcelo, and you can make some pretty interesting teams with that. Anyway,
all right, the squad's going to be on his Twitter tomorrow morning, guys.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're pretty much good. That's probably our longest video, but a lot to talk about this week.
Courtois could potentially get in.
Yes, Courtois. I wanted to. Frick, man, it's midnight. I forgot to talk about that. Yes.
Courtois could potentially get in, and I think those maybe Boateng. Boateng was in 2 of the 7 predictions as well.
All right, so guys, you know the deal. If you see those, and if you see all of those, if we got Courtois, Boateng, Salah, Kante, Son, big promo. FUTMAS is for real, guys. They're going to be doing the lightning rounds and everything. So definitely that's going to be interesting. Guys, this has been the weekly video. His Jamie, FUT Economist, whatever you guys want to call him, the nice man himself. His links are going to be in the description, Twitter, Twitch. Make sure you guys check them out. We'll plug the Insta too. Me and FUT Economist right now. We're grinding the Instagram game, guys. We're going at it like dogs. Like double. There's been double posts every single day. All right, so we're gonna be plugging all the links, guys, to everything is gonna be in the description below. Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Guys, hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, do not drop a like because I'm not going to make you guys drop a like. But get in the comments down below and talk to us. What are you feeling this week? And just talk to us. Interact. We're going to be down there. We're going to be moving around. Comments is the best way to discuss with us. And if you guys want, you guys can drop us a tweet. If you guys threw us both in a tweet at Run the Foot Market at I think it's FUT_Economist.
Yeah.
Right? You guys can dude, honestly, guys, just tell us your thoughts. If you made it to this point in the video, be like, hey, I like this. I didn't like that about the video. We love it. We love to hear from you guys. That's why we do this stuff. Very, very fun to do. And, okay, we're out of here. We will see you guys for Team League 14 next Monday or Tuesday. It's late, so I'm just talking and rambling. All right, we're out. Peace out, guys.
Peace.